6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning to you all. Where did Saturday come from? Why did Saturday even slither out of my mouth? Happy Wednesday to you all. It is the middle of the week. Happy Wednesday to you. Danny, thank goodness you're on video. Everybody else is hiding on me today. We got one person on video today. It's all right. It's all right. I knew John Hart. John Hart, I tell you, that guy. That guy, I tell you every day. All right. What are people texting me over here? Good morning to y'all. Remind me, make a note. Make a note. I'm going to have a little conversation with Mr. Cullen. I never heard back from Cullen. So guess what? Today's message all is for somebody who needed to hear it, because when the person who's supposed to be leading is not leading, guess who has to lead? That would be me. So here you are, yours truly, back-to-back days, you will get me. And when I started to think about that, and I'm using Cullen as an example, but poor guy, he's traveling all over the place, and I will give him a hard time. But my intro, as some of the news programs I watch, they say that the monologue, my intro, is that I wanted to do some research on figuring out really what is the statistic of a podcast show? Like, what is the statistic of doing something like this? And so I was Googling it and looking it up, going to good old ChatGPT. And they said that 90%, because this is appreciation to y'all, because this would be boring doing it by myself. 90% of podcast shows or things like this don't make it past 3 episodes. After 3 episodes, 90% of people don't make it. Go figure on how New Year's resolutions and all that fun stuff are. So then I was like researching it even more. And I said, well, all right, well, what's the next statistic that they have? Because, they just tell you, do you want more stats? And I was like, well, of course I want more stats. So I started just really diving into it, to learning more. And let me see if I can find it here. 60%. So after you get through 90%, of the 10% that make it, more than 50%, 60% of them don't make it another 6 months on a show. So I kind of was just like, wow, that's pretty cool, Brock. Way to go. But then I started to think, I started to think that the show would be really boring if it was just by myself every day. And so gratitude came into me. And so the first thing that I wanted to share with you all was just the gratitude of you all. Look at John, the other John over here. I got 2 Johns over here. John's up in the Maine. He is doing some hunting. Look at that guy. He's got his hunting gear on. He's going after some bear. That would just be really cool. Well, John, safety to you, brother. Safety up there. Get some rest. You've been working it up there. So in your second life and everything you do. Boy, John has such an amazing life. Oh, you should hear this story. It's pretty crazy. But 60% of the 10% who go, 60% don't make it. And so today is I want to start off with gratitude for thanking you all for being on here, sharing this show, showing up every single day in some capacity, in some way that you come on the show, because it is a very, very small percentage who do podcasts. And being a coach, people ask me, Brock, I want to do a podcast. I want to do a podcast. And there comes days like this all that, and I love Cullen, but like I texted him, we reached out to him, and we didn't hear back from the guy. Like he's traveling, he's doing things. I get it. So then I'm like, well, what the hell am I going to talk about? What am I going to do? And you can't cancel. Just like I was telling Jay, I was just like, well, needless to say, I'm going to have to lead, because one of the greatest compliments I get from you all is just my discipline in showing up every single day. in some capacity, in some form. Do I have personal problems right now? You better believe it. Do I have challenges with my kids? Yes. Do I have relationship problems? Yes. Do I have financial challenges? Yes. Do I got to balance my life today, figure out my kids today, work through some issues? Yes. But I ask God every single day, can I just show up? Can you help me show up today in some capacity, in some way, in some form? And so here you go, everybody. I'm going to show up in some capacity, in some form. And so I let my brain wander when I figured out that I was just like, you're going to have to lead today. What the hell are you going to talk about? And so I start going through some of the things that I have in my head, and I start going through what is it that I'm going through, growing through, and everything else. And I go back through some of my stuff that I have here, and I got some of my notes that I was frivolously, I don't even know if frivolously is a word, but Diane's really good at vocabulary. She's got an amazing vocabulary. And so I started like going over some things on where is it? Ah, here it is. When I was in Atlanta, the guy talked about going the extra mile. Okay. And so my notes are in the other page, but he talks, here's the saying. This is why I know this message is for somebody today. Okay. So he said to us last Wednesday, it was literally last Wednesday. He asked, how many of you go running? How many of you are runners? And then I actually did a little search too, John Hart. I was looking up to see like how many people actually do a marathon? How many people actually run a marathon? Do you all know the number percentage of people in society that run a marathon is less than 1% of people who actually run a 26.2 marathon? So if you've done it, congratulations. You make up less than 1%.
I won't ever
But the
make.
quote, what's that, John?
I won't ever make that list.
Yeah, it's so Jennifer's trying now. Jennifer's trying now. I said to myself, I go, would I ever want to do that? Do I want to be in the top 1%? And I said to myself, John Hart, just like you, it's just not a desire for me. Maybe in my future it will be, but right now it is not what I want to be. I had Christian said the same thing. That's not the 1%. But ironically, the guy last Wednesday says this. He's asking the runners, and he says, why do you run? What makes you run? What makes you do what you do? What makes you do It doesn't matter really what you run in, walk in, whatever it is, because I run 2 miles a day. My goal is to do it at least 4 times a week. Let's just be honest, 4 times a week. That is my goal. And I'm pretty consistent with it. But it always is. Why do you run? Because you better know your reason why, because the last mile is going to ask you. And I thought that was a very unique way of saying it. I've never heard that, but many times when I'm running, the last minute, I call it the last quarter of a mile, does test me. And at that very moment, many times in my head, I have to say to myself, ah, God, why do I do this? Why am I going through this? What goes on? Blah, 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 blah. And all these thoughts come inside my head. And literally, I'm setting something up here. And literally, no joke, the first thing I thought of this morning was like, damn, I really don't want to run. That's the first thing I think about. What's the first thing that you think about when you wake up in the morning? Is it already excuses coming in your head? Is it the alarm clock? Is it your job? Is it your work? Is it your assignment? What is it? Maybe it's a breath of fresh air. I guess technically my first thing is I always say, thank God I made it through the night. I always give grace and thanksgiving of like, I just slept through the night. I had a good night's sleep. I'm blessed and fortunate. I don't carry a lot of negativity into the bed with me. I don't have anxiety at night for whatever reason. When my head hits the pillow, I'm sleeping. And so I don't usually have that challenge. But the second thing I think about is really what is in my, like, what do I have today? And it's usually something I don't want to do, and I don't like to run. I run because it forces me to do something I don't want to do, which then sets the stage the rest of the day for me as do things you don't want to do today, Brock. I kind of said it to my elite coaching clients today. It's just like, overcoming fear, but have the courage to make choices, have the courage to make decisions. And so as I was setting this up and going through this mile, I started to look up some of the things of why is it that the last mile is the most difficult mile. And some of the reflection AI over here says this, John. It says the paraphrase or reflecting is a well-known idea that is a real test of a runner's willpower that comes at the end of the race. Because the last mile is going to ask you the most difficult stage of the run. Your body is hurt. You're typically dehydrated. Your legs hurt. You might have a cramp. You might have a pain. But it all comes down to what they say here, the discipline over motivation. See, when you start to run, sometimes you can listen to a really good music, you can hear good things, and you're just like, I'm all riled up. And sometimes what happens is once you get running, the music kind of like, oh gosh, there's not too much music that's going to motivate me and move me. I'm really tired. Jennifer says, I do it for me. I never do anything for myself. That's awesome. You have to have some sort of passion or reason on why you're doing it. Hence, it's fair to say that many runners make it to the finish line, right? Yes or yes. Yes or yes. Many of them make it. Now, of course, some of them don't make it, but majority of them make it. So they overcome whatever's inside their head, whatever challenges that they have. Now, you might all be wondering as I sip on my cup of coffee here, Brock, you mentioned this message might be for me. And I say that because I'm about to share with you something that is very ironic. And maybe whatever perspective you have in your head, whatever you're dealing with right now, whatever challenges that you have, this is why this message is for somebody. I know it's for me because when I started this, it was something like, I can't believe this is really taking place. So I share this with you because I'm going to share my screen because I can't, is my favorite one. I can't even make this up. Okay. So I'm going to share with you on September 24th. Everybody double check their calendars. It says September 24th, right? I'm going to share with you. Let's see if I can do this. Everybody can see this. So this is one of the books that I read, Word of Jesus for Men. And I'm going to go. Oh, wow. Look at that. Was that you, Jay, that did that? That was pretty cool. I'm going to share with you today's devotion. How ironic is that? That today's message says, go the extra mile. So I'm going to share with you a little bit of the devotion today. As today, this message is for somebody who needed to hear this to go the extra mile. Because when I opened up the book, I looked up at God and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta, there's something here that I'm supposed to look at. So it says, go the extra mile. And this is from Matthew 5, chapter 41. It says, if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with them 2 miles. And see, the first thing I thought of when I heard that was going the distance, but it didn't say go an couple extra steps, Chad. Now, did it? Did it say, Jackie, well, just go a little bit longer for what they want? It didn't say, well, just ask them how much further you need to go, Amanda. Diane, it didn't say, well, you just tell me when to stop, but how much more longer? It says go with them 2 miles. Double it, Sherry. It says go 2 miles. It gives you a specific measurable. God tells you what to do. Now I'm going to take bits and pieces out of this sharing And I don't know if I did that, Jay, or you did that, Jay, on my screen, but I'm going to go back to my normal webcam mode. There we go. I don't know what happened there, but that was pretty cool. Were you guys all able to see that? Maybe you weren't. Okay, good. You did see it. Okay. I like to see people's faces. So it says this. Jesus says you are better than this. How many of you are taking shortcuts right now? In some capacity, in some way, shortcuts come inside your head. Maybe I can just and when I say this shortcuts, it comes in very unique stages. So I'm here not to be Debbie Downer over here. I'm just sharing with you some opportunities to grow. What does this extra mile look like that God's asking you to go? Okay. I don't know. I can just look at Jennifer because what she's, but the weather over there doesn't look like it normally does for like when we see Robin going for a walk in Key West. Okay. Like when we see Robin going for a walk in Key West, we're kind of like, oh, wow, look how nice it is over there. It looks like it's warm, blue skies. It's just really nice. Okay. Yeah. Jennifer's weather over there looks like it's a little cold. It's a little damp. It's a little dreary. She's got a jacket on. It's cloudy. I'm sure just walking outside sometimes, how many am I talking to somebody like, damn, it's raining, it's Monday morning, I'm tired, I don't think I really need to do this today. Hell, God wants me to go the extra mile. I don't even think I could take 3 steps. I don't even think that's in my vocabulary today. Says the character of God, even though it seems unreasonable, God asks you to be stronger than the person who's talking to you. Let me elaborate. You're like, wait a minute, what the hell does that mean, Brock? Meaning there's going to be people in your life who are going to tell you, because if I said this to somebody and said, hey, man, I know we were supposed to run today. I was supposed to work. I love my mom to death. My mom keeps me in my comfort zone many times or asks me to stay in my comfort zone many times. But if we were to tell somebody that, hey, I think you might be overdoing it. Like, it makes sense. I mean, hell, it is raining. It is cloudy. It is cold. It's dreary. It makes sense. I mean, I too would probably just stay in the sheets for an extra 30 minutes. You probably were just tired. You know what? Your body is probably telling you. And the next thing you know, you're just like, you know what? You're right. Yeah, you're right. I was doing that. I was feeling that. I'm glad you said that, because now we feel comfortable for the decision that we made on why we maybe stay in the lane a little bit too long. We don't challenge ourselves as much. See, I like the line. How many of you heard this? Put a 5 in the chat if you've heard this. God will never put more on your plate than you can handle. How many have heard that? I remember the first time I heard that message. And I was just like, I don't know, but I think my plate is really tiny. Or can I get a bigger plate? Can he make my portions smaller? Is there something he can do? And I remember one of my mentors saying this comment to me. He says, Brock, do you pray? I said, well, yeah, of course I do. He goes, if you don't mind, could you share with me some of your prayers? And I start going in and sharing some of my prayers with him. And one of the times he stops me is when I say, God, I'm just looking for strength. I say this often on the prayer line. I ask God for prayers and strength, endurance, abundance. And he says, oh, hold up. So you're praying for those 3 things. How in the world is God allowed to test you if he makes your life easy? You have to go through this. And in order for him to work on your strength, to have the endurance to keep going, to go the extra mile. So when you're tested, you remain grounded. And when I listened to that, I was like, damn. And I brought this up several weeks ago when I said, what would take me to break? Remember my breaking point? And I shared with you my message about your breaking point. And when Coach Saban said, well, what are the breaking points of these hurricane windows? And I said to you that I can literally, I don't want this to happen, but like I could be broke. I can go through a divorce. I can pretty much have a lot of things ripped away from me. And I said, except one thing, my kids. That would really, that would crush me. My breaking point is stronger than majority of people because of my previous experiences that I went through. That is what my main theme is on Figured Out Friday, is to have other people's stories and experiences and wisdom be able to be presented on Figured Out Friday to help you know that it's possible. That when you think you cannot keep going on, and you think that you're tired and you think you're exhausted, I'm pretty sure, and I'm just looking at Jennifer because she happens to be walking, that there's many times that she might have inside of her head, I don't feel like doing this today. I'm not too sure about this. Maybe I just take one day off. Is it very possible that Jay could have came on the screen today and put on here, I'm sorry, the show is rescheduled for tomorrow? Is it possible that she could have said no show today and you came onto the Zoom and all you saw on the screen was nobody was going to be here? We'll see with you tomorrow at 8:15. Yes or yes, we could have done that. But see, God's message is stronger. This is the point of our lives for those of you or whatever season you're in, that you need to keep going that extra mile. We would have fired you. I'm going to read to you the last line and then I'm going to open it up to anybody. I've been really wanting to focus more on like opening it up towards the end. I did it yesterday and I just think it's important to hear other people's messages. I did a show on Saturday morning and I got to hear a lot of people just ask me so many questions. I spoke on this podcast show and it was just like, they called it the very unique name, the firing line. And they just fired off questions to me. And I really enjoyed it because I was able to help people. And so today, somebody might want to share something on what they thought about the message or something that came inside of them of going the extra mile where they've been tested, because it could help somebody else out. But let me share with you the devotion of the last part here. It says, to stand under God's authority brings wonderful freedom and the ability to act surprisingly different. Now, the reason why I like that is a wonderful freedom. Christian's on here, Chad's on here, about financial freedom. Many of us, John works with a lot of people with the financial industry. How many people want to have financial freedom? To not worry about how much gas you're putting in. I was next to somebody the other day and they were screaming out the window. So notice the word screaming out the window. Only put $12 in. Only put $12 in the gas tank. Jim, do you hear me? I'm like, holy smokes. First of all, why are you yelling? Second of all, I came with gratitude because I remember at one point in my life that I can only put so much money into my gas tank. And I had to calculate where I was going to be that week and what I was going to do and how I was going to put more money, more gas in there. So I was grateful and come with gratitude and where God has taken me and going through some of the headaches and the horror of going through that extra mile, that I don't have to worry about how much gas I put in my car. But the financial freedom where it says brings wonderful freedom. Even my godmother's on here. I see you, Aunt Mer. It says wonderful freedom. It doesn't say half-ass freedom. It doesn't say mediocre freedom. It says wonderful freedom. And the ability to act surprisingly different. How many of you go around, and I've been starting to do this even more and more, especially over the last week, when people say, how you doing? I'm doing great. How are you? I'm going to do this. What do you got going on? I've been challenged by this damn freaking step-a-thon with Amy Kane, this damn step thing all, and I freaking hurt my hip pointer. I strained it, and I hurt it last week driving down to freaking Atlanta, and Paul and Christian, those guys were there when they're like, what the hell? D was there. Like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I have no idea, but I did something. And then sitting in this car and I was out of commission. And Christian said to me, he goes, because I was walking. And if you saw me walking all, I was like crippled. I was like limping. Now I didn't do my full walk, but I told myself, you are going to freaking make it through around the block, no matter what it takes. I don't care if you have to crawl. That's my weird mindset. But it says acting surprisingly different. Christian's like, whoa, man, what the hell are you doing? And that point, which were surprisingly different, where are you surprising somebody going the extra mile? Where are you showing up, showing off, and surprising somebody? And it really is not that big of a deal, all. It's not like I was trying to climb Mount Everest. I was just trying to walk around the block. So some of the little things you're doing will surprise somebody because you're going the extra mile. There, well, I don't know who's got that, but yeah, I could. It was very hard for me to even sit, and I was just like, I gotta do it. I gotta just somehow freaking make this thing work. I don't know where the hell you guys get these pictures, by the way. So, but the point of it is it says we are not dominated by people or circumstances. It is up to God and us leaning in. So I have 2 minutes left here. Where, I don't even know what question to ask right now. Where are you going the extra mile? What did this mean to you? Does anybody have anything that maybe triggered something inside of your heart, your mind that God put inside of you today to be able to see where you're going the extra mile or what this message meant to you today? Because it was for somebody. Because I couldn't have thought about this, and then it happened to be the exact same time period that I get a September 24th devotion. Foam roller.
Morning, Brock.
Morning, Jennifer.
I'll try and be quick. So for me, mom pushing 50 years of age, just all the things, and families always come first, like hands down over my career, husband, kids. And so I've always put myself last. And so that's what drives me. Like, I'm tired in the morning. But I know I just have to put myself in the mindset of like, how do I feel when I'm done? How do I feel after I've completed it? So I set challenges every day to be 1% better. And it's never a time thing for me. It's always steps or miles. So that's what, for me, like, I can't do it apart from Jesus. You know, I start my day with my prayers before I roll out of bed, but getting out here and walking even in the rain today, like you said, yeah, it's something that I need to do for myself to be a better me, to be a better wife, to be a better mom, to be a better, just all the way around, better. So that's how it spoke to me today. And I know there's other women and men who, can relate to that, just putting everything and anything else before us. And it just, the mindset of I need to do this for me. I need to show up for me. I need to, you know, I mean, you can even go down that road of I need to not only forgive others, I need to forgive myself. We always put ourselves last on every list. So that's my journey I'm on right now. Thanks for showing up.
Well, thank you, Jennifer, for sharing this morning and being on your walk. And Amy, sometimes you see her on her walk. I got to give a shout out to my godmother too. She's doing the walk too. She's over 70 years old and she does the walk. And you know, it's it is a little thing like that all that you do that really inspires me. It motivates me to make sure that I do the little things like that. And I'll say this, Amanda, I was reading yours. I said, I go the extra mile for my family, but not for my own goals. And when I hear that all, that's basically you deciding in the airplane when chaos is going on, that you are trying to put on everybody else's oxygen mask on before yours. And what you're really doing is you're doing a disservice for all those people around you, which is your family. And it's because at some point you might not have the energy and effort to be able to do it. But if you actually put yours on first, you can help more people. So I'm going to challenge you. Jim Rohn says it too. Most people work harder on their jobs and other people than on themselves. The moment you work harder on yourself, the moment you focus on taking the extra mile with everything that you're doing within yourself, whatever it might be, maybe write it down today. I'll conclude with this. Maybe write it down today on where you're struggling and going the extra mile on things that you've been thinking about in your head on what you need to do. And just have a conversation with yourself and have a conversation with God and be like, how can I become better? How can I be that 1% better to go that extra mile there where I need to be so then I can help serve other people, i.e. my family, my loved ones, those that are in my inner circle, whatever that might look like for you. So guys, I appreciate y'all. Oh, have the courage to give ourselves grace to be better. Amen, Sherry. Amen on that. Guys, I appreciate it. If you got something out of today, put a 5 in the chat. Put a 5 in the chat for me. Make me feel warm and fuzzy because this was kind of on the top of my head, but I feel the alignment was there on the extra mile and just what my conversations were this morning on my own personal devotion. So hopefully I was able to help somebody else out. Guys, I appreciate you all as always. God bless you all. Thank you guys so much. Tomorrow morning at 8:15, come back. We will be here. Till then, having a phenomenal day. Happy Wednesday to y'all. See ya.